Hey y'all, it's me, Mademoiselle with Decolonizing the Divine, and today I'm talking about the movie Sinners. Okay, so if you're new to my channel, this is where I talk about the Enlightenment experience that I had and what has been transpiring afterwards. So, Decolonizing the Divine is the platform for understanding pre colonial and pre patriarchal spiritual understandings. I also wrote a book on how to go through the enlightenment process, spiritual awakening, or whatever that is for you, whatever you call it. Okay, I wrote a book on it, and enlightenment is basically where you learn how to transmute this energy out of your body, you clear up your energy, and so that way you and God's energy is tethered, connected together. This is what ancient cultures understood before colonialism, for any religion or any book came about. This is what Jesus was trying to teach, that God is the energy within you that you embody fully when you go through the ascension or enlightenment process. That's the easy verbiage that I can try and put it for you. Obviously, it's much more deeper and denser than that, but that's what I got for you right now. Excuse me. Okay, so Sinners. All right, so I'm from Mississippi. I went to school in the Mississippi Delta, where the movie is based. It's based in Clarksdale, Mississippi. So I worked at a blues museum. I'm very familiar with the culture and like what the movie is based on, blues music, the heritage, all of that stuff. Right? That was me. I was all up and through there. Okay, so this movie resonated with me on like just like a personal level because I was so excited and so happy to see like Mississippi people and culture things being portrayed in a way that's like we're telling our own experiences and stories. It was so beautiful to experience. I can't believe I got to see that. I never thought I would see something like that. I don't know. I just never. Ryan Coogler was just blowing my mind. All right, so yeah. So from a spiritual perspective, like of course the movie is highly spiritual. I don't need to um, explain it. Hopefully you got the gist. But of course, this is gonna be multi-layered. So first, let me start with Annie because she was the spiritual person, right? And she had so many nuances that went into this. And so what I love so much about is how they portrayed the beauty of these spiritual traditions that we have been around of, and that has been demonized essentially, and how it's really like a soul thing, and it's internal work and it's internal knowledge. And obviously Annie had a lot of it, right, because that was her profession. um, and she just represents black women's natural connection to the divine, right? And what I've been saying, what I've been communicating, black women, okay, women are connected to the divine. Okay, great. Black women before we got introduced to colonial structures and patriarchal structures, that's what you were doing. You were walking between the spiritual world. That was your divine design. Okay, black women hold immense spiritual energy and power, right? We hold a lot of it and we don't know. We've been bamboozled out of so much. Black people hold a lot of spiritual energy and power and magic. It's basically magic. But we don't know what we carrying. We don't know what we're working with. Them folks know. They know what we're working with. That's why they do so much to try and talk us out of it and bamboozle us out of it, or like call it evil or demonic. And the whole time they siphoning it. Whole time they just plucking from your magical energy that you don't know you carry, right? But that's what she represents. Like in the previous video, I was talking about what's that preacher, that man in Phoenix that was going viral the other week. Black women don't have no business following behind men regarding spirituality. That's not their stuff. Women are of the spiritual dominion. Men they just hijacked it. Okay, that's why the world is in disarray and you don't understand who you are. And then somebody was like, anybody can, get, led astray or something like that. And that's why I'm like, no. When black women reclaim their natural spiritual position and stuff like that don't happen because you're spiritually higher up and you see stuff coming a mile away, right? I went through my enlightenment process. I get 5 to 7 business days notice when something coming my way, because that's your divine design. That's your energetic makeup to be receiving spiritual communication. I'm going to know. I'm going to know what somebody's intentions is. If I don't know, I don't pick up on it, it's going to be shown to me in some kind of way. That is what you was doing. Crazy, right? That's what Annie represents. And I'm so glad to see that and for that to be shown. And then, of course, like the other women in the movie had their own, like, purposes. But you see, Annie had the strongest connection to the spiritual, and she knew what to do. And you can see, like, the folks who followed otherwise and who didn't listen to Annie, you see what happened, right? At the very least, at least Annie got to be rejoined with her baby, and I forgot which one she was with, which one of the twins. They got to rejoin with each other in the spiritual world, and they, I don't know, however it's set up, however their story is supposed to be told, they may come back again, and her soul gets to live on, right? That's a spiritual knowledge that we've actually been robbed of, and people think it's like just, no, it's not random, right? And so when we, again, have been brainwashed out of our spiritual knowing that we originally had, our spiritual knowledge that we originally had, we get set up for failure. We get set up to be prey, basically, because we don't know what's going on. We don't know what's what. And just think about, like, all the people all the black people who had, like, all these spiritual gifts and things like that. What did we call them? We called them crazy or, like, evil or something like that. Like, a lot of our folks had visions. They had the gifts. It's still there. We just been robbed out of it. We don't know how to use it. We don't know how to turn it on. It's coming back, but black people hold immense spiritual energy. That's how we survived through all this stuff, right? That's how we did it. So, it was glad to see. I was happy to see her being portrayed in that light, and it not being something like, poked and prodded at and laughed and, like, made a joke out of. Okay, that's Annie. Now, it's so much. I didn't write that down either. I was like, I'm just coming off top. Sammy. Okay. Now, I resonated so much with Sammy's character, actually, because of my spiritual experiences that I went through, and how in the beginning of the movie she said that for him it was music, right? But I'm just gonna, I don't know, some people's light or some people's gift is so pure that it attracts the good and the bad, or, like, for me, I'm referencing the ancestors, right? Because as soon as he strummed that chord, you saw all the black music in the past and the future being conjoined in that one room, right? So he basically, the ancestors was gravitating towards him because his light was so strong. That is a similar experience that I've had. And again, like I've shared in a previous video, that God gave you spiritual tools for self and spiritual mastery. Your ancestors are one of them. Your ancestors are out there, okay? Your people are out there, okay? You have some type of spiritual protection that you probably are not tapping into. And for me, I don't know, I find it fascinating. Like, and again, because I've done the work, and a lot of stuff happens in my dreams that I don't know, I'm still waiting to see, like, if it's safe to share or not. But anyways, I've had ancestors come to visit me, and things like that. And that's because my light is so strong, and then I have acknowledgement and awareness of them. Your people are out there. Your folks are out there, right? So if there's something you're interested in, make sure you're calling on your ancestors of the Most High light and things like that. And again, what's going to happen? Your energy has to be on par with what you're calling in, right? My energy is high. I get high level communication from people who are coming with good intentions, right? Anyways, that's a whole nother something. But again, his gift was so pure. His light was, that's what he attracted to him, right? But in what a lot of people like will run to is like, oh, he attracted evil as well. He had a gift that taught him how to defeat it. And this is again another thing is like religion has kept people so spiritually infantile that all you know is theory. You don't know how to do anything. You don't know how to combat anything. And you know how you can't combat it? Because you don't understand how to navigate the spiritual world. Y'all, people have to move beyond the verbiage. You have to move beyond the verbiage. This the easiest way for me to identify somebody who was just like full of BS, right? Or what you may call people that spiritually bypass is that they operate in that hypocritical and that judgmental manner. You cannot achieve enlightenment without going through and transmuting your darkness out of your body or that density out of your body. You can't do it. People like to try and hop up there and they, hide behind religions or they hide behind Jesus or they hide behind the Bible and all like millennia later, y'all still are not grasping what these folks are trying to teach you. This is internal work that you have to do. And just because you can regurgitate stuff word for word, the Bible front and back, you probably still ain't done a lick of work because people are not understanding this is internal, it's application that you have to imply. There's action behind this. It ain't just repeating stuff forever. That alone don't make no sense. Why would they give you this text for you to just repeating forever? Apparently they're trying to teach you how to do something. Y'all ain't doing it. I'm not saying y'all that are watching, but people are not doing it because they don't understand it, that it goes beyond that. And so that's why people don't know how to navigate even personal things, the spiritual things. People don't know how to get out of depression. They don't know how to call in, money or things to them. People don't know how to excel spiritually because they have not been given the tools and the resources on how to do so. People have been kept spiritually infantile on purpose. So a few folks can benefit, right? I don't believe in demons or okay. For the most part, I don't believe in like demons or the devil and stuff like that. I believe there are people, things, whatever, that operate in lower dense energy and they have not been given the tools or the know-how on how to transmute that energy out of their body. Okay? The bigger picture and the bigger harm is that people do not understand that this is internal work to be done. And when you keep going outward, you're not accomplishing anything. You ain't doing lickety-split. You ain't doing nothing. Okay? That is the problem when you, again, rely on these things as crutches, right? Anyways. So I resonated with Sammy's character a whole lot because like those are experiences that I've had, right? And being somebody young and growing up in Mississippi and growing up in the Bible Belt, also it's also something that really irks me is like how many gifts and talents that people have been robbed out of because it wasn't quote unquote to whoever's standard or whoever's approval. And just think about black folks in general, how much gifts and things that, we've been robbed of. Because we've been so ancestrally disconnected and we don't understand how the spiritual world works, a lot of kids come here with their own blueprint. A lot of us come here with our own mission and stuff in mind, but because we get programmed and because we're too busy trying to assimilate them into whiteness, They miss out on their whole purpose in life because we don't understand how this works. Y'all don't know what ancestors y'all reincarnating onto the planet and what their mission is. You do not know that because we don't understand how deep the disconnection goes. Just think about it. You have no idea. And I remember reading something where, like, in some cultures, when a woman was pregnant, they used to, I don't know, reach out and have communion with the ancestors or whatever, or God, or whatever you want to call it, right? And they would tell them what the child's name should be, and the child would go and live out that purpose or whatever the name that God or the ancestors gave them. We've been disconnected from so much. My name has a lot of ties to what I'm doing now currently. Not my online name, but my actual name has a lot of. Now that I know what my mission is here, now I see how my name connects to all of that. But that was on accident, though. I don't think it was understood. It just gave me this name. They didn't know, my mom probably didn't know it was like any type of shoot. It was given to her, but she didn't know. It was the ancestors up there or God or whoever telling her to name me that. We've been disconnected from a whole lot. So, anyways, getting back. What else? I'm not gonna go too extreme with it because I believe, like, hopefully, people grasp like what they grasp from it. If you have questions, you need me to help you interpret something specifically, you can always ask in the comment section. I'll try and figure out how to help you come to, whatever you need to come to with that. But everything in a movie has some type of spiritual, like, representation. Everything in it, from even like the vampires in Remick and them seeing, and again, indigenous people, like, because they mostly retain their connection to the spiritual world and how they connected spiritually, they still hold on to those spiritual gifts, right? Remick and just his representation of white folks in general. I know it was some Irish in that, but we're talking about the representation of it being the whiteness and, like, needing all these cultures and things to be able to basically achieve their own personal goals, right? And this is again why I get so agitated with black folks still following these doctrines. These folks are literally siphoning your energy, your magic. They're literally siphoning your magic. When you go and you put all your energy into these folks' institutions and their logic and their way of thinking, you are still feeding into their power structure, right? You thinking everything outside of fundamentalist Christianity or whatever it is you follow, that you call everything else demonic, you're still feeding into their power structure. Black people have to understand energy and how energetics work. You are literally still feeding into their power structure and their power dynamics because you don't understand. These folks are actually they're the demons that y'all be hooting and hollering about. If you still following white folks and they doctrine and their spiritual, those are the demons that y'all be following behind. If y'all still following behind men, like that pastor that was doing all that mess and all that, if y'all still following behind men spiritually anyway, y'all probably following behind some demons. That's not their stuff. Men are not of the spiritual dominion unless they've done their work. And the vast majority of them have not done their work because why? They spiritually bypass by attaching themselves to women's energy. As long as women keep fixating themselves down here and trying to figure out how to be a sacrificial lamb, guess what the men don't have to do? They don't have to do their work. Because your ass keep coming down here. Your ass supposed to be up here and they're supposed to move their energy up. You're not supposed to be down here with them. This is why you have to understand energetics. You're supposed to be up here. They're supposed to Somebody's supposed to be guiding them. Men are supposed to, in ancient societies, men were, they had a pecking order or something where they were teaching and guiding men how to become fully men, right? That's how you weren't supposed to be down here tolerating all this foolishness. You were not supposed to be down here doing it because you keep bringing your energetic system down here. We keep staying down here. All right. So you have to understand how energy works, and that's the stuff that's been demonized. Actually, the actual energetic parts of it, and so. Again, because you've been taught everything is evil and demonic. Y'all don't understand. Jesus understood energy. And I don't know who watching, but whatever. I don't care. Jesus understood energy. Jesus understood the stuff that y'all call evil, right? Jesus understood that he had to clear energy out his body. How do you clear energy out your body? With the stuff that y'all call demonic or witchcraft or whatever. Jesus was a mystic. Jesus, their ancestral line is recalled in the Bible. That is for your ancestral line plays a big part in your spiritual evolution. You are connected to everything. You're connected to the earth. The stuff, the very earth that you sustain and you live off of, y'all be out here calling demonic. Calling the water evil, calling crystals evil and stuff like that. That is how you achieve enlightenment. When you understand that everything is alive, seen or unseen. When you understand that everything is alive and helping and working in tandem to help sustain everything. That's how you achieve enlightenment. When you don't understand how to transmute energy from your body and you just think you just hop your happy self up here and you've done the work. No, you haven't. This is why people are confused. And they stay in these constant loops. If you are alive and you need the earth to be alive, why would the earth not be alive? The earth has its own consciousness. That's basically all it is when you come to the understanding that everything around you is interconnected and trying to work in tandem with you for the higher good. That's how you get there. The planetary system is a part of it. I'm highly affected by the moon. The moon whooped my ass the other day. This new moon of Scorpio, God gave me a hint that I was going to be going through it, but I didn't put the pieces together, right? I got a dream. I had a dream about, like, I was going to be dealing with some deep emotional stuff. And again, because I'm like, I did the work. Why I keep going through these emotions? But it's basically it's to help you purify. That moon whooped my ass. But again, because we don't understand how connected we are to everything, we're always lost. Or we don't know why we behave in certain ways and things like that. Like, baby, you are connected to everything. God gave you, I made a video. You got yourself. 5 tools God gave you for spiritual enlightenment. Yourself, God. God is the energy. You have God's energy within you. You have the planet. You have the earth. All these things that sustain you that are alive. You got the ancestors and you got the planetary system. There might be some more stuff out there, but at the very least, you need to understand those basic 5 things. They all have their own level of consciousness, and they are within you. You are composed of these things. Why would they be evil? Are you evil? Are you doing evil things with them? Just because people do stuff, and it doesn't matter which spiritual tradition you find yourself in, evil is everywhere. Well, people who operate in lower dense energy is what I call it. I don't like using those words because I feel like they don't really do much. People who do quote unquote sins or evil things don't know how to transmute that energy out of their body. They don't know how to get that stuff out of their system. Okay, all right, so I'm working with Decolonize the Divine again. So I host webinars periodically on how to reawaken your ancient divine energy. All the information will be in the description, but depending on when you're watching, I'll probably have another one going. So hopefully by the time you see this video, the next one will be up. But yeah. So if you have any questions about the movie Sinners, all right, if you have, anything else that you like need to kind of like be picked apart, you can just let me know in the comments. I'm trying to think if I have anything else before I check out. So I talked about Annie, I talked about Sammy, and I talked about Remick. And did you see how bad that they wanted Annie? They did not want what's his name? Stack. I think it was Stack. They didn't want Stack to kill Annie. Why? Because Annie had so much magic and wisdom inside of her. Annie also carried the ancestral energy within her. Y'all don't know how powerful you are. And I don't be saying this stuff to be cliche. Like, you literally do not understand how powerful you are and what you got access to, because you've been robbed of it on purpose. Robbed of it on purpose. Shout out to the that Nottoway plantation that just burned down. I don't know what was the happenings with that, but shout out to it burning down. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, so that's all I have for that right now. Again, I'm open to questions. That's all. I'm just pulling off the top right now. I'm pretty sure I've seen some. I think Black Witch Yaya made like a more thorough review of the movie, and also Queen Poe. I think I'll post some other Sinners reviews down in the description so that y'all have them. Okay, and you can go watch. You kind of peek back and just kind of get like a little bit more studying in. Any more spiritual significance? If you have anything like culturally, right? Because it's a lot of, I recognize like Howlin' Wolf energy was in the movie. He's a historical blues musician. Howlin' Wolf. Who else? I think it was pretty sure some Robert Johnson things in there. Robert Johnson was apparently a blues man, also from the Mississippi Delta. All the blues folks is from Mississippi anyway. But he, the legend is he went to the crossroads to exchange his soul for the gift to be able to play the guitar, right, or for fame. That theme is in there. Also, the twin theme also has some Nigerian. It's this Nigerian concept with the twins that I came across. I can't pronounce it. I can't think of the name of it. But if I come across it again, I'll try and link on the video and how they connected it to Sinners and the twin things and all that stuff. Basically, it's like two twins are sent to kind of like be a whole and balance with each other, but they have those different opposing like characteristics. Anyways, there's that. But the culture is, all this stuff is coming back because we're in this era where we're about to, our little smorgasbord of history and culture is about to find its way to intertwine somehow. Sorry, that's what's happening. So get ready for that. Love on your people, love on your ancestors. If you are connected to your ancestors, you're connected to God. All right. Okay. That's a theory of mine. Like, I just don't trust people who don't like love and honor their ancestors, because they are a part of God. They are a part of God's way of connecting and communing with you. You are connected to your ancestors. There's nothing evil or demonic about your folks. Okay, God loves your ancestors too. God is not this fearful, hating thing that these folks try to tell y'all it was. Like I said, black people understood God before we got introduced to any of this stuff. We had a natural, beautiful connection and understanding of the divine. We are returning back to that. That's all that's happening. We're returning back to our natural understanding and our natural connection. It's not just black folks, it's indigenous people all over the world are reclaiming. We're going through a rebirth. right? God said, y'all gonna put my world back the way I made it. That's all God doing right now. Y'all gonna put God stuff back how he had it, basically, or she had it, whatever again you wanna associate with. Okay, so thank you for watching. I'm Mocha. Let me know if you have any questions. Do all the things. Please like, please share, and also feel free to comment. And that's it. Watch some more videos of mine.